has commenced. The Asian Infrastructure Development Investment Bank pays its attention on providing $100 million of financial assistance to Sri Lanka. The media minister says that the expectations of the president is to overcome the challenges before the country by establishing a strong government with a majority of parties. Political parties discussed the proposal of the Bar Association. The statement that there will be a power cut of more than 10 hours is false. The US provides $150 million of military aid to Ukraine.
On to those and other stories in detail. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa says that he will consider taking measures according to the Constitution on the proposals submitted by the Bar Association to everyone, prevailing political and economic instability. The President mentioned this during a discussion today with Sri Lanka Bar Association at the President's house in Fort Colombo. The Executive Council of the Bar Association has unanimously passed 13 main proposals based on the present situation. The President, discussing the implementations of proposals, emphasized the importance of protecting supremacy of law. Attention was paid on all proposals during the lengthy discussions on the proposals between the President and the Executive Council of the Sri Lanka Bar Association. Members of the Executive Council, including Chairman of the Bar Association, President's Counsel Salia Piris and Secretary Attorney at Law Isuru Balapattabandi were present on the occasion.
In the meantime, State Minister Shantha Bandara says that steps have been taken to provide chemical and organic fertilizer needed by the farmers. He has requested the farmers to cultivate their land since regulations on fertilizer use have been relaxed. The Agrarian Services Centres has sent 70,000 metric tons of solid organic fertilizer to farmlands. Steps have been taken to send 2.5 million litres of liquid fertilizer also to the farmlands. The State Ministry of Agriculture said that all farmlands will be provided with organic fertilizer within the next few days. The Treasury has agreed to provide 660 million rupees in this regard and also to provide additional funds. Measures have been taken to obtain 65,000 metric tons of fertilizer under the Indian credit line. Urea fertilizer is being imported under the World Bank assistance. Facilities have been provided to use chemical fertilizer and pesticides as earlier by relaxing regulations. Apart from that, the Treasury has taken steps to release funds to pay compensation for crop damages during the previous season on the instructions of the President. The Agrarian Development Department is scheduled to provide the funds to the farmers during this week on the instructions of the State Ministry of Agriculture. State Minister of Agriculture, Minister Shantha Bandara said that measures have been taken to provide fertilizer needed by the farmers. Steps will also be taken to pay compensation as requested by the farmers within this week. The government has taken steps to provide facilities needed by the farmers even amidst the economic crisis. He requested the farmers to engage in cultivations as before.
The Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank has paid its attention on providing a financial assistance of $100 million to Sri Lanka. This was mentioned during a discussion over video technology between its senior management and Finance Minister Ali Sabri. Chairman of the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, Jin Lee Kung, said that discussions are taking place in this connection. Sri Lanka's ambassador to China, Dr. Palitha Kohana, Treasury Secretary Mahinda Siriwardana and Finance Ministry officials attended the discussion. Attention has been paid on controlling the country's present situation and enhancing cooperation. Chairman of the bank said that he believes Sri Lanka will be able to overcome the present problems. Discussions have also been held on providing short-term and long-term assistance to Sri Lanka. Discussions between Finance Minister Ali Sabri and the representatives took place on the support that can be given by the bank for the foreign exchange liquidity of local state banks.
Minister of Media Nalaka Godaheva says that the expectations of the President is to overcome challenges before the government by establishing a strong government with a majority of parties. He mentioned this while expressing views about the special cabinet meeting which was held recently.
Media Minister Nalaka Godoheva said that the President has taken a decision to invite a group who would like to face challenges to establish a government by dissolving the present cabinet. The minister said that the President discussed about the measures to be taken during the recent cabinet meeting. It was discussed that the most convenient methodology is the resignation of the Prime Minister, which would dissolve the cabinet. According to the Constitution, it can be used as a technical solution. Some groups are trying to misinterpret this action. The wrong opinion is that the President has taken a decision to remove the Prime Minister, but it is totally false. The simple method to appoint a new cabinet to change the government is the resignation of the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is scheduled to announce the final decision in the next few days. What is important at the moment is to think about what will be done after it is implemented. The President has commenced discussions with the opposition and with all parties in Parliament. The President has invited all of them to support to establish a unity government on behalf of the country. They will make that decision available in due course. After the cabinet is dissolved, according to the Constitution, the President can appoint a person as Prime Minister who the President believes can win a majority trust in Parliament. So far, no decision has been taken in that regard. The final decision will be taken after discussion with all parties. The decision of the Sri Lanka Pudujana Peramuna, which is the largest party in Parliament, is important. Therefore, it is not necessary to misinterpret about the decision. This is not a crisis between the President and the Prime Minister. It has been taken as the most suitable step after discussions with everyone and the Cabinet. What is needed at the moment is not to remain in power by any party. As proposed by the Bar Association, what is needed at the moment is to make the necessary changes and to move forward as requested by the people. The President is following a flexible policy at present. Discussions are taking place in this connection. A strong government is needed to find solutions to the problems in the country. The Media Minister requested the people to support to establish a strong government. Sri Lanka Freedom Party, the group of 11 parties who became independent from the government and Samagi Jana Balawegaya, held discussions with the Bar Association today on the interim administration proposed by them. The Bar Association held discussions with the Sri Lanka Freedom Party and members of the 11 independent parties. Party leaders, including former President Maithripala Sirisena, attended the meeting. The Bar Association has presented a series of proposals to the government and other political parties to overcome the present economic crisis. Attention was paid on practically implementing the proposals. Former President Maithripala Sirisena said that the discussion was successful. He said that they expect to move forward by finding solutions by getting views of organizations such as the Bar Association. Thereafter, Samagi Jana Balawegaya held discussions with the Bar Association. Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa and senior party members took part in the discussion. Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa said that he thanked the Bar Association and they are prepared to take progressive future steps based on the proposal presented on behalf of the country. He said that the executive presidential system should be immediately abolished. JVP Propaganda Secretary MP Vijitha Herath explained about the way that the Jatika Jana Balawegaya would support if an all-party government is to be established. MP Vijitha Herath said that the government led by the President and the Prime Minister should resign. It will then be possible to think about a short-term all-party government with all political parties. He said that according to their stand, it is compulsory for the President to resign.
Moving on to more local stories, United National Party General Secretary Phalitha Rangabandara says that only mentally unstable people speak about an election or a constitutional amendment at this moment. During a discussion with a YouTube channel, he said that answers to the problems of the people cannot be found through constitutional amendments or an election. MP Phalitha Rangabandara said that it is of no use to introduce constitutional amendments if it cannot find solutions. This is not a time to introduce a constitution. People want to get some relief from the pressure. Only mentally unstable people speak about a constitution and an election at this moment. It will cost at least 9 billion rupees to conduct an election, and there are no funds for that. The economy should be built at this moment. He said that discussions should be held with other countries and financial organizations which will need intelligence. He said that this is why they are with Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe.
The Mahanayakatheras have emphasized that all public representatives in Parliament should collectively provide solutions that can win the public confidence. They have said that they expressed their regret for none of the public representatives re-intervening to make a positive contribution to solve the crisis. Issuing a special statement, the Mahanayakatheras have emphasized that the President, Prime Minister, Opposition Leader and members in Parliament should take immediate action to ensure civilian life by stabilizing politics, society and economy in the country. The Mahanayakatheras have pointed out that there is a problem about their validity on the way they act as public representatives by destroying public money, having unlimited privileges to achieve their objectives and political ambitions in Parliament when the people are facing severe difficulties. Certain public representatives are making speeches and proposals in Parliament based on political objectives. The statement of the Mahanayakatheras has said that those activities show that they do not have political maturity and any sensitivity about present problems. It is questionable whether public representatives have any ethical right to agree with the arbitrary political party decisions with further inconvenience to the public. The Mahanayakatheras has informed to make an effort to introduce an all-party interim administration consisting of intellectuals. The statement further says that as the Mahasangha, they do not expect to bring someone into power or to remove someone from power by following political objectives, and there can be serious reactions from the public if all politicians only engage in personal luxuries through tax money of the people.
Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa paid homage to Anuradhapura Jayashree Mahabodhi this morning. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa engaged in religious practices near the Jayashree Mahabodhi and thereafter called over on Chief Sanganayaka of Nuwara Kalavya and Chief Prelate of Ruan Valley Mahasaya Venerable Pallegama Hemaratana Thera. Thereafter, the Prime Minister took part in religious observances near the Ruan Valley Mahasaya. The Prime Minister, who went to the historic Mirasavatia temple, called over and received the blessings of Mirasavatia Chief Prelate Venerable Dr. E. Talavatnuvave Gnanatilaka Thera. The Prime Minister exchanged views with the devotees and had come for religious observances when the Prime Minister engaged in religious activities.
Ceylon Electricity Board says that propaganda have made over social media stating that there will be a power interruption of more than 10 hours from today is false. Chairman of the board, MMC Ferdinando, said that there is no necessity to do so. The activities of the Norochalai power plant were stopped for 5 days a few days ago due to a minor fault of the power plant out of the 3 plants. It was restored during that period. A testing is done to add it again to the national grid. However, the board said it has failed the test due to an oil tank leak in a pressure pipe. The board said the officials are taking measures to rectify the issue. Minister Kanchana Vijayasekara said that there is no truth about news reports that the IOC will increase its prices. In a Twitter message issued by the minister, he has said that the IOC or SEPEDCO have not increased their prices and legal action will be taken against the persons who spread fake news. Many tankers could be seen today arriving to get fuel from Kolonav depot and leaving the place. Issuing fuel is taking place continuously. Meanwhile, our reporters said long queues were seen today to get fuel in many areas of the country. Our reporters said people in the Vaunia district are getting fuel without a shortage. Private bus operations have been disrupted in Hatton area due to a shortage of fuel. Filling stations in the Hatton town had not received diesel for several days. The vehicles have been parked in front of filling stations in the area. A tense situation prevailed today in Armour Street as people in the area did not get gas. Although they have been in gas queues from last night, they have not received gas until noon today. Therefore, they engaged in a protest blocking the main Armour Street. The protest ended after a lorry with gas cylinders arrived in the area with the intervention of the Armour Street police. Although steps were taken to distribute gas methodically, they have tried to take gas forcefully as the stock was not sufficient for the people who gathered there. Although police tried to prevent it, certain persons had forcefully taken away the gas cylinders. People in Grand Pass, Colombo, protested blocking the road, demanding to provide them with kerosene. Our reporter said there was heavy traffic congestion as a result.
Ministry of Defence kindly requests from all citizens of the country to assist in managing the current economic and social crisis and unrest in the country with utmost intelligence and patience. This has been stated in a statement issued by the Ministry of Defence to explain imposing the emergency regulations.
It must be stated that we all respect the democratic right of the people of Sri Lanka to peacefully express their agitations and protests within the democratic framework. Nevertheless, especially the last few days, the struggle that has been going on as a peaceful struggle has been changed and the democratic rights of the people have been violated in an attempt to disrupt the normal life of the people in the country. It is a fact that in general we are all in great distress due to the protests and hartals being carried out in various parts of the country in a manner that affects the daily lives. There have been reports of protesters behaving in a provocative and threatening manner without any regard for the prevailing law and order in the country, disrupting the work of the police and security forces who are committed to maintain law and order. Due to this reason, the majority of the law-abiding citizens of the country find it very difficult to maintain the essential services required to carry out their daily lives. Considering the status quo, state of emergency in the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka has been declared from midnight on May 6, 2022, in accordance with the constitutional power vested in His Excellency the President of the country in terms of Article 2 of the Public Security Ordinance, and as per the powers vested in the President of the country to maintain public peace, securing the lives of the people and ensuring social stability and to establish the constitutional institutions established in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution. Accordingly, the Ministry of Defence and the Ministry of Public Security informed all citizens of the country to act as responsible citizens with the utmost intelligence and patience during this difficult period to maintain law and order in the country, and further requests to extend the public support to the armed forces and the police department, who are committed to the safety of all in such emergencies. Medical associations say that all doctors have a responsibility to act protecting ethical guidelines. They mentioned this, expressing their views in connection with an incident where a doctor rejected treating a politician who went to get treatment from a private hospital. A statement made by the doctor connected to the incident is circulating on social media. The doctor said that apart from him being a doctor, he is also a professor. Unnecessary things have been said in Parliament about professors. As doctors, we can at any moment decide whether to treat patients or not. As soon as the nurse gave this file to me, I said I will not see the patient and returned it. Sri Lanka Medical Association and Sri Lanka Medical Guild expressed their views about the incident during media briefings today. Chairman of Sri Lanka Medical Guild, Dr. Rukshan Bellana, said that army officers and LTTE cadres were treated during the wartime. There are problems related to the behavior of the professor, including violating medical ethics, separating patients who will be treated and who will not be treated, and this will become a problem in the future. He said that the medical council should look into the matter.
එකක් තමයි වෛද්‍යාචාර ධර්ම අමුමේ උල්ලංඝනය කිරීම. ආයි කිසිදු ඒකට වෙනත් අර්ථකථන දෙන්න යන්න එපා. ඒක වැරදි. වෛද්‍යවරු අන්තිමට ප්‍රතිකාර කරන හා ප්‍රතිකාර නොකරන රෝගීන් තෝරා බේරගයි. මේක හරි ප්‍රශ්නයක් වෙනවා. මේ වෛද්‍යවරයා හරි කිව්වා මම බලන්නේ නැහැ කියනවා. ඒ මොහොතෙන් ඒ සැනින් පැයක් ඇතුළත කොහොමද මේ කතාව මාධ්‍යට යන්නේ? මේක රංගනයක් නෙමෙයිද එහෙමනම්. තමන්ගේ පුද්ගලික හැඳිනුණු හැඟීම් මත රෝගීන් ප්‍රතිකාර කිරීම, තීන්දුව කිරීම සිදු නොවිය යුත්තක් බැවින් වහම මේ සඳහා පියවර ගත යුතුයි ශ්‍රී ලංකා වෛද්‍ය සභාව. ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ ප්‍රතිරූපය මේ වයිනි ආකාරයෙන් ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ වෛද්‍යවරු ප්‍රතිකාර දෙනවා කියලා ලෝකයට හිනස්සන්න එපා. සංගමයක් හැටියට කියන දේ තමයි
Deputy Chairman of the Sri Lanka Medical Association, consultant Dr. Suranta Pereira, said that all persons would be given opportunity to get treatment. We are bound to treat everyone equally. This incident should not be a precedent. Action should be taken according to medical ethics.
විවිධ හේතු සහ ප්‍රශ්න වලට සම්බන්ධ වෙලා ඉන්න පුද්ගලයන්ටත් කිසිම විශේෂතාවයකින් තොරව සමානාත්මතාවයෙන් සැලකිය යුතුයි. එතකොට මේ සිද්ධිය
Issuing of passports that have been suspended will commence tomorrow by the Department of Immigration and Immigration. A statement issued by the department said that except for the one-day service, the normal service will commence tomorrow. Issuing of passports were temporarily suspended due to an urgent maintenance of the computer system. The applicants who have reserved a time to get the normal service on the 5th and 6th and 9th May will be accepted tomorrow. The department said it is relevant to only the applicants who obtained a number or a seal to get a passport under normal service on the 5th of May. The department said it is compulsory to reserve a date and time to hand over passport applicants from the 10th Tuesday. The service can be obtained by logging in to www.immigration.gov.lk or by calling over the telephone number 070-710-1060.
The protest in front of the Presidential Secretariat continued for the 30th day today. People remained near the Presidential Secretariat last night as well, shouting slogans. The protesters stayed overnight in front of the Presidential Secretariat shouting slogans. People had come from various areas and joined the protest. Various programs have been organized at the protest place. A special puja for goddess Kali were among them. The protesters commenced their protest again from this morning.
The Met Department says that the low pressure near Southeast Bay of Bengal will become a low pressure depression and will grow into a cyclonic storm through East Central Bay of Bengal today. It has been requested to the fisheries and naval communities to pay their attention in this regard. The Met Department says that heavy showers or thunder showers could occur in the relevant sea area. The wind speed can be between 70 and 80 km per hour and it can increase up to 90 km per hour. The Met Department said that those sea areas can be rough. The Met Department says showers or thunder showers can occur in Western and Sub-Ragamo provinces and in Gola and Makara districts. Well, that's it on local stories. We'll be back with news overseas. Do stay tuned in.
Hot and spicy, trending fashion on a navy. Rasa baby, papare beat ke Saturday ko tumhe pandavi. Nada baby, mom, Saturday kapuna. Rasa diva paeruna. Saradavi adanari ko tumi pandama. Fun update bena, hot cup pe kakmana. Saradavi adanari ko tumi pandama. Prima ko tumi pandamai.
Welcome back. We continue with news overseas now. The last of the Ukrainian civilians trapped in a steel plant in the port city of Mariupol have now been evacuated. According to officials, further, they said that all women, children and the elderly have been brought out from underground bunkers in the vast steel mill, where they had been hidden from Russian attacks with little food, water or medicine. The steel mill, the final pocket of Ukrainians fighting in the devastated port city, has become a symbol of resistance to the Russian effort to capture swaths of eastern and southern Ukraine in the 10-week-old war. Hundreds of Ukrainian fighters are thought to remain inside. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky, in a late-night address, said that more than 300 civilians had been rescued from the plant and pledged to continue the extremely difficult but essential efforts to evacuate the trapped fighters. Meanwhile, many are feared dead after a bomb hit a school in the Luhansk region in eastern Ukraine. The regional governor confirmed 2 deaths but claimed as many as 60 people could be lying dead under the rubble. About 90 people had been sheltering in the building and 30 were rescued, 7 of them wounded, he added. 2 deaths have been confirmed so far. The governor also said that a Russian plane had dropped the bomb yesterday, but his accusation could not be independently verified and there was no immediate response from Russia.
Afghanistan's supreme leader has ordered the country's women to cover their faces in public, one of the harshest restrictions imposed on them since the Taliban seized power last year, and an escalation of growing restrictions on women that is drawing a backlash from the international community and many Afghans. They should wear a head-to-toe burqa, as it is traditional and respectful, said a decree issued by the Taliban chief that was released by authorities at a function in Kabul yesterday. A spokesman for the Ministry for the Propagation of Virtue and the Prevention of Vice read the decree at a media conference, saying that a woman's father, or closest male relative, would be visited and eventually imprisoned or fired from government jobs if she did not cover her face outside the house. The spokesman added that the ideal face covering is the burqa, which became a global symbol of the Taliban's previous hardline rule from 1996 until 2001. Most women in Afghanistan wear a headscarf, but many in urban areas such as Kabul do not cover their faces. Since taking over Afghanistan, the Taliban have reintroduced such restrictions.
The Philippines goes to polls tomorrow to choose a new president in what analysts say will be the most significant election in the Southeast Asian nation's recent history. Outgoing President Rodrigo Duterte leaves office with a reputation for brutality. His signature drug war has left thousands dead and is being investigated by the International Criminal Court. Economic incompetence and cracking down on the media and his critics. Duterte has also been criticized for his handling of the coronavirus pandemic, which has killed at least 60,439 people in the archipelago. There are 10 people battling to replace him, but only 2 stand a chance of winning. The first is frontrunner Ferdinand Marcos Jr., popularly known as Bongbong, and the namesake of his father, who ruled the Philippines as a dictator until he was forced from office and into exile in a popular uprising in 1986. The second is Leni Robredo, the current vice president and head of the opposition, who has promised more accountable and a transparent government and to reinvigorate the country's democracy. Some 67.5 million Filipinos aged 18 and over are eligible to cast their vote, along with about 1.7 million from the vast Filipino diaspora.
Prima Kotumi, Pantamay.
And now for sports news. The Sri Lanka team left the island today to take part in a test tournament with Bangladesh. The series includes 2 test matches. Dimut Karunaratne is the captain of the Sri Lanka team. 4 new players are included in the team of 18. Kamil Mishara, Kamidu Mendis, Dilshan Madhushankar and Suminder Lakshan are the newcomers. Sri Lanka team will take part in 1 practice match before the commencement of the test series. The first test match will begin on the 15th at Chittagong. The second match is scheduled to commence on the 23rd at Mirpur.
I think Bangladesh is a very strong team. If you take them lightly, you're fooling yourself. You need to play your A game to beat the Bangladeshis, and we need to perform really well. I mean, we've got the skill and the talent. It's just that we need to go out there and execute the plan. I'm sure that we will do that. We've got a very good squad. It's just that we need to go out there and execute the plans. We need to play really well to beat the Bangladeshis, especially at home. They've been playing extremely well. Some really good cricket, and they've beaten the giants as well. So we need to go out there and, as I said before, play our best game and do our very best.
And more on to sports news updates. This time it's basketball. The boys' quarters finals of the Inter-School Under-19 Basketball Championship matches were played today at the Colombo Sugatadasa Indoor Stadium today. One match was played between Colombo Ananda and Maradana St. Joseph's Colleges. St. Joseph's College was leading 28-27 at the end of the first half. They won the match by 62-57. Another match was played between Colombo Royal College and Gateway International School, Colombo. At the first half, Royal College was leading 46-28 and they won the match 72-62. Another match was played between Kurunegala St. Anne's and Colombo DS Sinanaika Colleges. SS Sinanaika College was leading 40-35 in the first half and they won the match 63-62.
Prima Kotumi, Pantamay.
That's all the news for today. Join us again at the same time tomorrow. Good night.
Good night.